All right. Hey, welcome everyone. This is James and Brandon with Next Gen Entrepreneurs coming at you guys with another episode today. We have a phenomenal treat. We have a guest for you guys today. So, Scott, say hello really quickly.
Hey, everybody. My name's Scott Bauer. Hope you all are doing well.
Awesome. Yes. So, guys, Scott is a phenomenal entrepreneur with lots of tips, insights, and wisdom for you guys here today. So, Brandon, I know you actually know a lot more about Scott's business and everything. So, I'd love you to do him proper, give him a little bit more of an introduction, and let's get this started today.
Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks a lot for joining us today. Again, Scott, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. We're certainly intrigued to dive into self-made entrepreneur. We really want to hear your story. We understand that you got into this business world at a fairly young age, and seen some bumps, but have certainly come up on top. And we just want to dive into a few questions. I believe today we're going to talk about kind of the mindset, the why, your values, which is kind of a layup from our previous episode, and also what you can expect for those trials, those times where things are just not working out the way you would expect them to, and how you're able to overcome. What kind of affirmations you tell yourself. So maybe tell us a little bit about you and a couple of minutes here, and tell us, what kind of business you're involved in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, my name's Scott Bauer. I'm here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona, originally from the state of Iowa, and moved out here after I graduated from college, literally only a couple of weeks after I graduated from college. Started off as an entrepreneur really at a very young age. I started a car detailing company back in Iowa when I was only a junior in high school. And really what that did for me was show me the light. I worked for a couple of car detailing companies back in Iowa prior to me starting my own. And of course I had a boss, and I had people that were showing me what to do, and I had, higher ups I had to report to. But once I went out and I realized that, whether I have a boss and I'm doing a job or I'm doing a job on my own, the job is the same. You're still doing the same thing. So why not go off and do it on my own? And so when I started that car detailing company and really saw what that felt like to work for myself, after I graduated from college, I actually moved to Arizona with a company and was working for a company in logistics sales, which is basically supply chain management. If you have a product, then you need to manufacture that product somewhere. You need to store that product somewhere. You need to transport it, etc. And I worked for somebody else for about a year. And in that year's time, I really realized that I enjoy working for myself because I get to choose my own destiny. I get to make my own life. It's up to me. If things aren't going well, it's up to me to change it. And so that's got me to basically where I'm at now as a real estate entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, guys, one thing I know about Scott is he's a doer. He's such a type A, just get it done type person. And one thing I applaud you, Scott, is that, you recognize an opportunity that you can take on by your own self versus working for the man, like I typically say, and you run with it. And it's just been kind of a story to your life and business as of today. And every time I feel like you learn something, with an entrepreneur mind like what you have as at the moment, you could probably turn anything into a business. And you say, why would I make someone else the hundreds of dollars, whereas I can make that hundreds of thousands of dollars, whereas I can make that. And that's just kind of your personality. And I think that's really going to be just you're going to be an excellent advocate for those that are listening. So James, hit him up with the next question, man.
Yeah, definitely. And really quickly, those of you listening, the takeaway for me, what I love, Scott, is like the age you got started at. You were very young, it sounded like. So for those of you listening, that's good news. Start early. And it sounds like Scott's, values and reasons there. He really craved destiny, right? He said he wanted to create his own destiny and wanted that freedom. So huge there, Scott. And, let's stay with that a little bit. Related to destiny and freedom, those are some things that a lot of people want, a lot of entrepreneurs want. But Brandon and I, we talk a lot about values and knowing your why when we talk to our audience. So can you speak a little bit to your values and your why and how it kind of related to, you creating your destiny and the freedom you desire in your life and business?
Absolutely. And you know what? This is a very important topic for me because this is really why I get up every single day and what continues to drive me. So shortly before I actually started my first company in car detailing back in Iowa, I was in I put myself into a coma. I got hurt. I was racing dirt bikes and I got hurt and found myself in a coma for 10 days. Spent 32 days in the hospital and had a brain injury where I pretty much forgot how to do everything and had to relearn it over again. That's reading, that's writing, that's walking, talking, making your bed, living a normal life. I mean, I had to relearn how to do all that stuff over again. And so when I talk about what my why is and what I value, I value the most limited commodity that all of us have, and that's time. I want to be able to control my time. Every single person out there, we're only on this earth for a very, very short amount of time. And so to do it the best of the ability, nobody knows how long that time is. Nobody knows, when your time is up. But for the time that I'm here, I want to be able to control that. And so that is my number one driver on a day-to-day basis on why I continue to do what I'm doing. And when things get hard, that's all I have to remember is that I'm here to control my time. So keep pushing, keep working through it.
Man, that's
huge. It's huge. Value bomb there. I'm sorry, Brandon. It was just such an inspiring story. But Brandon, please go ahead.
No, it's absolutely 100% convicting. I think I remember. Oh gosh, it might have been 4 or 5 months ago. I calculated out the average length of living for my age, and I think it was like into the 70s, which is still, I think that's a pretty high number. But the purpose of me looking this up is I wanted to calculate how many hours I had left on Earth, and it came out to an astonishing number. It was like I'm going to wing this. I think it was like 76 or 86,000 hours or something like that. And if you think about that, it's not that long. I mean, gosh, we throw away 24 hours every day in the trash. And what are you doing during those 24 hours? Are you spending time, screwing around on Netflix, playing PlayStation? What are you doing? Are you on YouTube, not watching productive videos, but perhaps learning how to get as many headshots on Call of Duty as possible? Like what is it that you're wasting your time in? And I think that's huge. So Scott, we appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very, very important. I mean, that's one of the big things that continues to drive and why I do this is because it's my ability to be able to control the time that I have here. And you'll never have a true opportunity to control your time working for somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that, because it's not for everybody. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. But that's okay. There are ways you can be entrepreneurial within working for another organization. And really, it could be a win-win for everybody. So that's important for me to say as well.
Absolutely. That's huge. That's huge. That nails it on the head because yes, guys, if you're listening to this podcast and you guys have been following us, although we're self-made, we're self-employed, doers, if you will, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to, in order to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to work for yourself. I mean, you can have entrepreneur qualities, but by working for someone else, bring value to them, get that exposure. I mean, I can tell you those guys that are way up in, like, let's say Google, although they're in a tier structure and maybe they're not the president, those guys that are VP, you can't tell me that those guys aren't entrepreneurs. I mean, would you guys agree with me on that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that if you're working for another company, you could really, adding value is a big part. So going above and beyond what your job responsibilities are, trying to find ways there, clock in, do what you're told and then leave at the end of the day. For one, you won't feel fulfilled doing that. You'll get burnt out easily. You'll not feel like you're an important piece of that business. But more importantly, I mean, you can find ways to help understand and add value to that company, and you'll go above and beyond what your job requirements are. And not only will you be respected better at your company, you'll be appreciated. You'll also you'll have more options. So if you need time off, if you need days where you want to work at home, there'll be a lot more understanding with your schedule and what needs to happen, because you're there. They understand that you're there to help them out as well. So it's just kind of the law of reciprocity. If you help somebody, they're naturally going to want to help you as well. So that's very, very important.
Yep.
Yeah,
it comes back.
Yeah, and guys, really quickly, lastly on this topic before we transition to your next question, Brandon, I just wanted to point out, not only for those of you, new or thinking of an idea, there's nothing wrong in the beginning with getting, a job. So if that's what you need to do in the beginning, A, I'm a big believer in that. And B, one thing I didn't hear talked a lot about is be selfish and get your skill set, right? So preferably get a job in an industry or field that's related to the type of business you want to start. And like these gentlemen were saying, kick ass, but be selfish and, get your skill set up and get your people skill sets up. So just wanted to drop that in there. Really, lastly, Brandon, would love for you to get into your next question.
Dude, awesome stuff, James. Yeah, and I think this kind of leads into what we could typically. This next question is going to lead us into what could we expect if we do go the route of actually, pursuing business on our own and building that team and what that's going to be like. So tell us, Scott, what are some, real life challenges that entrepreneurs face, and what affirmations do you typically tell yourself, to overcome those challenges?
Absolutely. One major thing that every entrepreneur is going to come up against at one time or another is capital requirements, money that's needed. And really, I'm sure for a lot of listeners out there that have a grand idea or have a business they'd like to start, the first thing they have to say is, but I don't have any money. Where can I find the money? Or let's say you do have some money, whatever it may be, you're going to run into a money issue and a money crisis. Not just that, but you're going to run into hurdles of, you don't have the support. You don't know what the right way to go about it is. You don't know. There's just a lot of unknowns that you're going to have in the business. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult for you in some scenarios to get out there and continue to push forward. But Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, those of you out there that are listening, I would highly recommend reading this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a very old book. It's a tried and true mentality about, if you truly can, if you think about it long enough, it will become your reality. And so the quote is, losers never win and winners never lose. Or I'm sorry, never quit.
Yep.
And winners never quit. So that's a really big thing to think about as well. Just don't give up. If you have something that you care about, you believe in, if you have a business that you're trying to start, I promise you, if you never quit, then you can never lose.
Yeah. Give us an example, Scott, because here's the thing, there's a ton of memes and photos and quotes that everybody posts on Facebook, and I'm one that does that myself. Because yes, you want to get that kind of that head turning or that wheel spinning. You want people to kind of at least explore the positivity in thinking positive, if that makes any sense. But tell us like a real world scenario that maybe you had gone through that scared the living crap out of you. Maybe it was a money issue. You didn't know where to go. Oh, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, absolutely. So when I first got started in this, I own a wholesale real estate investment company. And when I first got started, I didn't really have any money. I had just quit my job that I had full benefits with, that I had a good salary. I was getting paid commission. It was a good, solid job. I quit cold turkey and got into real estate. And once I got into real estate and I started getting into the wholesale side of things, I didn't really have any money, but I knew that I needed to get leads. I knew that I didn't have a business unless I had deals coming in the door, and I needed to get leads coming in the door, and that was going to take money. So what I did is I actually went and maxed out a credit card. It was like $12,000. I maxed the credit card out to send marketing to try to get leads. And that was really scary because, one, I didn't have the money to pay that credit card back. If I didn't get any leads and I didn't get any deals, I had no way to pay that money back. And I really didn't know exactly what I was doing. All I knew is that I needed to get leads, so I sent out direct mail, and I sent 10,000 people a letter. And it was really just kind of a shot in the dark. I said, you know what, if I'm going to be in this, I'm committed, and I'm committing to this. There's nothing that's going to stop me from being successful. So I maxed out that credit card. I sent the letters out there, and I think it was actually the second mailing before I got my first deal. So, which is actually really, really quick. But yeah, I think it was the second mailing that I actually got my, a lead that came in that actually turned into being a deal. And it didn't pay back the full $10,000 or $12,000, but it paid a portion of it back. And at that point, I actually have it. I have it in my office, framed, the first dollar that I ever made. And that is my sign when things get tough too. Now, I always look at that dollar and I know that this is real, that this can happen, and that if I just don't give up, that it'll keep on moving forward, and I will figure out a way to make it work.
Wow.
Yeah, so many huge takeaways there. Huge. The two that I got, you said it earlier, but don't quit. And that could be watered down, but just do not quit because it will get hard. And guys, the biggest nugget you may have gotten from this interview is that book recommendation, Think and Grow Rich. I can vouch for that book and talk about that book for days because I believe in it so much. So if you've never read it before, please do yourself the favor, listen to Scott, hop on Amazon and grab yourself a copy because it is that impactful there. So, lastly, Scott, yeah, man, just so many nuggets there. But Scott, I think for me, the last question I'd like to ask you today is, you didn't struggle with this too much personally because it sounded like you got started with your journey in entrepreneurship pretty young, right? But for those of us that are truly on the fence, we believe in ourselves, but we might not have the confidence and knowledge to go out, get off our butts, and take action. What advice would you give those that are considering starting an entrepreneurship that are on the fence?
So if you want to know my honest truth, in its very simplistic form is go do it. Go do it now. Even if you don't know all the right moves, you don't have all the information, you don't have you don't know exactly how you're going to do it, go start doing it. Because I will promise you this. If you start doing something, the universe will find ways to help you the universe wants you to succeed. And so it will find ways to help you get to where you want to go. It'll put people in the right place. You'll meet people at the right time. Certain events will happen in your life that will point you in that right direction. But when you don't take action and you don't go start doing what you want to do, what happens is just naturally in your head, you have this idea, and all of a sudden this little devil that sits in the back of everybody's brain comes up and tells you all the reasons why it's not going to work. You're going to fail. You're not going to be able to do it. It's going to be too hard. You're going to have other people in your life. Might be your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your best friend, whoever it may be, that's like, don't do that. You're crazy. Go get a job with somebody else. Go to the safe route. Go be safe and don't fulfill your dreams. Don't fulfill what you want to do in your life. All these things are going to happen, and you can't listen to it. You got to listen to you. You mentioned this earlier, James. You got to be selfish, and you just got to go do it. Yep. As soon as you start it, you're going to figure out how to continue it, and you're going to figure out how to be successful. And if you just never give up, then you can never fail.
Huge.
It's huge, man. No, it's so true. It's a matter of just getting off your butt, and I think people look at that like it's just a cliche saying, but it's so true because those who are looking at it like a cliche saying are the ones that are still sitting on their butt. And it's like just get out and do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You're young. Those that are listening to this, or the target audience, they're young folks, and you don't want to be on your deathbed 30, 40 years from now wondering, oh man, what if, just do it. get off the ground, surround yourself around the right people that are going to point you in the right direction. So if you do think money is going to be an issue, put yourself around people that can get you access to money. If you think it's just you're not good at speaking up, or your sales pitching isn't as spiced up as you'd like it to be, put yourself around salesmen. Find out what they're using as tactics to fulfill and complete a sale. And I think that's huge. It's a matter of surrounding yourself around the right people, reading the right books. Think and Grow Rich is a huge book, like we just stated. I mean, you really gotta get the mind frame so that that business is the right route to go. And like Scott's saying here, just freaking do it, and that's huge, man. So I love it. And I think what we'd like to do here is really just kind of touch up the finishing of the call. First and foremost, Scott, thanks a lot for joining us, man. And I think the folks that are gonna be listening to this are really gonna understand that yes, you got to start somewhere. You're gonna go through some crap. There's no better way to put it. And you're going to have to find ways to overcome that noise. And we really appreciate you giving us an insight on a little bit about you, the tragic accident that you got in, that you were involved in, but fortunately came up looking good at this moment. And business is going well, and we're just can't thank you enough. But also, James, we appreciate the appropriate questions here to help out our audience. Guys, I just want to say thanks a lot. What we would ask of you guys more as an action here is to share this message, share this recording to others. We want others to get involved in our community and be a part of this and grow this into something that is a resource for you, so that you can put yourself around the right people that we're talking about. Again, get yourself around the right network of people. And those people are going to have access to other resources, and now you won't feel like you're going in this all by yourself. We're going to be there to walk you step by step. Would you agree with me, James?
I would. I definitely would.
Absolutely. Well, guys, again, we like to end the phone call by saying this. Entrepreneurship by all means. Again, think about this. Entrepreneurship by all means is no title. It is a lifestyle. And yes, we really, truly believe that all. So again, guys, thanks a lot for your time. Scott, thanks a lot, man. And we'll talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
Scott. Bye-bye.